Oh my God, are we actually live? This is my first time ever doing this. Hello, YouTube. All right, we're going to start this live podcast in just a few minutes here. A few seconds. I don't know. Is anybody watching? Maybe my wife's watching. Maybe my kids are watching. Hi, kids. Go to bed. Seems good. Hey, thank you for being here if you're here. I appreciate you. We're going to start this podcast, this live podcast with these crushers. We're going to start it in just a minute. Make it even closer. What's your last one? Jesus, dude. I think Tara said she had little legs that she was going to point on us. But, like, we're fine now. We're fine in this moment. We're probably putting up enough. I think we're fine. Otherwise, we got flashlights going on. I'm going to start this thing if you're ready. Will you continue sales throughs? Should I say, like, up until the end, you can buy tickets? Or shut it down? Yeah, we can do okay. Yeah. Right. So I want this thing in and out in an hour is the idea. So that's the plan. You good with that? Yeah. Eric, one more beer. Yeah. All right, climbers, it's me, your host, Ryan Devlin. Hello, thank you for the applause. I appreciate that. Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay, all right. Free beers coming around. Thank you, guys. We're going to get started in about 90 seconds to 3 minutes. I just need to set up my recording equipment because this is also going to be aired as a podcast on the Struggle Climbing Show. We're also live streaming it on YouTube, which I've never put done before. Hi, YouTube. Are you there? So yeah, thank you all. If you're out there in the nether reaches, or if you're in the Middle Earth, if you're in the land of Moria, I'm reading a lot of Lord of the Rings right now with my 10-year-old son. If you're out there and you want to come in here, come on over. It's nice out here on the basketball court. And we're going to get started in just a couple minutes. Remember, you can grab raffle tickets from the red tent over there to win a couple pairs of climbing shoes and all sorts of gear, Petzl Draws, PhysiVantage Nutrition, Arc'teryx Pack. Grab yourself some raffle tickets, and it supports the great work that the coalition's doing here. And then get a cold drink over at the Country Boy tent. And I'm just going to set up my recorder, and we're going to go. We're not even going to start the music again, because then I'll get into another conversation, and then there goes 10 minutes, and we're all trying to get to sleep so that we can climb tomorrow. So stand by. We're going to start in like 1 minute. Still the baby. Yeah. Like I'm in the thing. My mom sucks. Like one ever sees me. I try to. That contract. Figuring that out. I'm basically waiting until season. Yeah, I feel like I'm finally starting normally I can do that. So I've been like looking at like a lot of like I think I want to see if I can squeak out. All right. Oh, are we ready? Yeah. Be mindful that your mic's on. And then leave them on. Yeah, if there's like feedback, if not, yeah. Okay, so let's go. It's okay. No, well, we don't have score, so we will have to share. It's not. It doesn't. It's just for effect. Do you want to just?
Not literally, I was just quiet the whole time.
Like, oh, this mic wasn't plugged in. You know.
I'm more than willing to share with them.
We can share. We got this.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this podcast started. Welcome, Miguel's and Rocktoberfest climbers. How are we doing tonight? Yes. It's a supportive crew out here, live from Miguel's on the pavilion. And I don't know, who got out climbing today? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. You can't see. It's a podcast. We can't see hands go up. I got out today as well. Was this the first actual day of like fall climbing today, you guys? It felt so good. Yeah. The rock felt sticky. I felt like I could rest. Ooh, that's very exciting. We're gonna have a great festival. I'm so psyched. It's the 25th Rocktoberfest. Let's go. We're kicking it off with a bang here at Miguel's. And we've got an all-star panel. Why are these people here? Why did they come? Why are they sitting next to me? Because their sponsors brought them here. They're not here for me. They're not here for, you're here for me? They're here for me, they're saying. Let's give it up for this rock star crew on this panel. Emily Harrington, LIghtner, and Anna Hazelnutt. This is ridiculous. I'm so excited. I know all these people on YouTube, and now we get to share a table here. We get to share a basketball court at Miguel's. So this is gonna be like just a little bit of a free-flowing format to all of you out there, our friends. I'm going to hit with kick things off with a few little topics, and then we're going to take some questions from the audience. We got some swag to give away from our friends at Busy Vantage Nutrition and Petzl and Scarpa and Evolve and Arc'teryx and so many more good things. So we're going to be doing some giveaways, some raffles, and also just having a conversation about climbing because we're climbers and we're here at Rocktoberfest to just enjoy this community and this beautiful weekend. So let's kick things off right now. I just want to go down the line to our astute panelists. Is that a word?
Sure. It is a word. I don't know if it's probably not.
Yeah, words aren't my forte. But let's go down the line here. And I would just love to hear from your all's point of view, like what it's like to be at the Red River Gorge. If you've been to the Red, what it's like, and you know what your experience has been at the Red. We are here at the beautiful Red River Gorge, and what you're excited about for the upcoming festival here. So we'll start with Emily Harrington.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the Red River Gorge. It's one of my favorite places in the world to go sport climbing. I first came here on spring break, my sophomore year of high school. That was like 2002 maybe, and I camped at Miguel's, drove out from Colorado, and I just remember being like completely blown away by the stone and the quality of the roots. And yeah, I started making trips out here every season for several years, throughout my teenage years and my 20s, and the last time I was here was 9 years ago, so it's been a while. A lot has changed in my life, and I'm pretty stoked to be here, honestly. I'm stoked that the temps are getting good, and I'm just, yeah, sport climbing is like my favorite style of climbing ever, and I think this is one of the best places in the world. So,
can you just tell us a little bit about when you first came out? You said you were a sophomore in high school?
Yeah.
At this point in time, you were like one of the top competitive climbers in the world, probably?
This is like successful competition, like on the world stage competition climber,
Okay.
But yeah, I was like getting there.
So what was your first trip like? Can you hit us with like some of the highlights? Did you just like send everything?
I remember I went to the Mother Lode and I just did a bunch of on-sites, but I remember my friend Matt Siegel, who's still a really good friend of mine, and we're still friends, but this almost ruined what? I'm gonna wait till they go. Brad.
I bet that guy's penis is huge. Like so big. Are we all in agreement there?
Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
So I was on Tuna Town, and I on-sited Tuna Town, and my friend Matt Siegel did not on-site Tuna Town. And clipping the anchors is actually like quite hard. And he was like yelling at me to take a whipper from the top. and he actually started pulling on the rope, trying to pull me off the wall.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and then I started to cry, and I came down, and he was like filming me crying, and I was so mad at him. And I still love you, Matt. He was only like 19 years old, but was this such a dick move?
Oh my gosh, but also like doesn't surprise me from what I know of Matt.
No,
Siegel,
especially
so,
not
yeah.
back then. So anyway,
I love
that's
it.
my
Oh,
story
man,
from my
on-site
first time at the
Tuna Town.
Red.
Way to go. On-siting Tuna Town's a proud son. Kai, let's come over to you, my man. How old were you when you first came to the Red?
I think I was 10.
10 years
Yeah.
old. Okay.
think
What
it
was
was-
your experience? What do you remember?
I just remember, I remember being scared because I used to only climb in the gym, and at all the competitions I went to, all my friends and their parents, actually, I say all my friends, it was really Drew, my friend Drew Arada. Him and his dad used to almost kind of bully me and tell me that I needed to go outside climbing because it's like plastic isn't real and you need to experience the rock. And that's the only way you'll be a true climber. And after harassing me for long enough, I'm fine, like I'll do it. And so I went to the Red. I just remember at first being scared, but like kind of getting my bearings pretty quickly. And yeah, I feel like the Red was one of those places where I really learned how to rock climb.
Dude, that's amazing. Do any routes stand out for you? And when was the last time you were here?
I was here for like a climbing trip. It's been a long time. Like I think in my last big trip here was maybe when I was 14 or so. So it's been a while. But yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that I was able to do a lot of cool routes in the way there. I remember my first trip here, I was able to do is it snooker? That's I think my first 513. Yeah.
Yeah, classic.
It was called. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, and like just like learning how to like try hard and like turn it on to clip the chains. It was really cool.
Oh, so good, dude. I love that. All right, more climbing to come this weekend. Anna Hazelnutt, tell us about your history. How old were you when you first came to the Red?
Yeah, a funny story. I was 28 years old, and it was, what time is it now?
7:15.
Yeah, it was about maybe, what did I get here, 6:30?
No, let's give Anna a warm welcome to the Red River Gorge.
That's my first time. I haven't even seen the rock. I just drove here straight from the airport, and I'm sitting here right now, and this is my first time ever in the Red. Yeah.
This is really exciting. Well, surely you know of the Red.
Absolutely.
Now, you're known for slab and vert.
Yes, the opposite. The opposite of this.
Did you take a left turn at Albuquerque? Because you are in a different zone here. What are you excited about? What are you scared about?
No, I'm super excited to try the climbing here, and I've been getting into other styles. Actually, Emily and I climbed in a cave, didn't we?
Yeah, Anna got a knee bar clinic from me in a cave. That's
Yeah.
true.
So I'm branching out, climbing more overhanging things, and I'm actually so excited to be here. I am kind of recovering from a wrist injury, so I don't think I can push it too hard, but I can climb again, and so I'm gonna climb again.
Yes.
Let's go. Okay, I want to because we are at the Red River Gorge and we're kicking off the fall season here in Rocktoberfest, I would love to get from you all any insights, any tips that you might have, things that have just worked for you, that might work for me or others who are listening or here at Miguel's, as it pertains to climbing longer, pumpier routes where, that like sickening deep pump sets in. I mean, it's really what the Red is very well known for. And you all have climbed like really long routes. I mean, Emily, big walls, like Golden Gate in a day, but also just like really long routes. Kai, for you, Life of Villains, Death of Villains, long, hard cave routes on your fingers. For you, Anna, I mean, more of like the grit, like long, like crazy, heady, head pointing, Book of Life, those kinds of like, is that right? Is that the right? What's the name? What's the word?
Walk
of Life.
Yeah.
Book of something.
Mormon. No, I don't know.
Book of Mormon. She FA'd Book of Mormon. Walk of Life.
Walk
My
of Life.
apologies. Where you're spending a lot of time on the wall, maybe the head game's getting into play, maybe the pump is setting in, maybe it's just like straight up endurance or strength, but the Red is like a very, kind of has like that very distinct style. So we'd love to get like any little insights or tips that you found worked for you when you're climbing on this kind of terrain. Emily, we can start with you.
Sure. Yeah. So what I like to tell people and recommend to people is it's not about not getting pumped. A lot of people think that having endurance is about not being pumped, and that's just not true. Like, unless you're 11 years old, you're probably going to get pumped. And it's about being comfortable with that feeling. Like, a lot of people who don't do a lot of endurance climbing, they just kind of freak out when they start to feel pumped, and it's really uncomfortable, and you start to feel tunnel vision, and you kind of start to almost forget how to climb, and you just kind of start panicking because you have this lactic acid buildup in your forearms. And so I think it's not only about training, but it's about getting comfortable climbing while pumped. And I think that's what a lot of really good endurance climbers are good at. They're good at just embracing that feeling.
How do you, can just a follow-up question? How?
You practice it. You got to
Yeah,
do
but like,
it.
how do you practice? So just doing it and trying to then make one more move, or is there something that you do in a more controlled environment to try to get used to that discomfort?
Of course, like, yeah, in the gym, practicing just getting pumped, getting to a hold, practicing climbing while pumped. It's basically endurance training, but it's like a kind of about switching your brain, because a lot of times people are like, I've been training so much endurance, but I still get pumped. And it's like, yeah, of course you still get pumped. Like, if you're going to be trying hard, you're going to be getting pumped. It's about being comfortable while climbing pumped. And I think it's a mental thing. So you have to kind of switch your brain into like, oh, okay, like, I'm going to feel this in my forearms, and it's not going to be comfortable at first, but then I'm going to push through it, and I'm going to get better at making moves after I feel like I can't anymore.
Hell yes. If you just make a couple more moves, you might get to that big lay down rest like we have here on a lot of our routes. Kai, how about for you? I mean, most recently, like Death of Villains, Life of Villains, and obviously it's been a while since you've been to the Red, but you've climbed some really steep, really hard, really pumpy routes. And what works for you as you're experiencing that discomfort?
I think it's different because I've been climbing for so long. I mean, I started climbing when I was 6, and endurance has always been my style of climbing. So I think the mindset has just shifted. When I was a kid, I mean, I didn't really get as pumped, but I was like 11, and so I think for me at that time it was more so I really didn't like to fall, and so I was really stubborn, and I just wanted to get to the top of all the climbs, and maybe I was a little emotional, some tears here and there. But I feel like as I've gotten older, I feel like I've gotten comfortable with like that suffering a little bit. I kind of like enjoy a bit of like the pain of like fighting through the pumps, because it's like that feeling of accomplishment when you like push through it and able to get to the rest or get to the chains, like. So I think for me it's like a mindset shift of being comfortable in that fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. Like, I think like the mental discomfort is like, at least for me, it's the hardest thing. The forearms scream, but it's ultimately the mind that says scream, take. And so like overcoming that, that like the mental screaming is the hard part.
I don't know. I feel like if it doesn't burn, I don't want it. Like I want to be able to fight through it, so it feels like I accomplished something. And that goal isn't always a grade. Sometimes it's just a style that's difficult for you. But
would you say that sometimes it's a struggle? I mean, like, would you say that because I get paid every time somebody does? Like,
allegedly.
It was so close to getting paid. Anna Hazelnutt. Peace and love, long routes in Yosemite, to bolt or not to be, and very hard and uncomfortable climbing at times. Book of Life, we've talked about a couple times now. How do you manage the pump or the discomfort that sets in on the route?
Okay, so because I started doing this and like these pumpier like sport climbing routes like just in the last few years, I feel like I really had to nail down like what to actually do while you're pumped, and I just talk to myself like in my head, and I give myself like positive affirmations while I'm breathing. I'm like, yes, mama, like you got this. And I'm like, hold on, and I'm just like, and I'll like shake, try to like get the pump back, but I just try to like gaslight myself into being like, nah, you can hold that, that's fine, yeah. And just like keep it going. And that's how I've found really helps with the breathing. And if I like don't give myself these positive affirmations, I'll start thinking about the fall, I'll start getting scared, I'll start getting all pumped, and you don't want to like clip when you're pumped, because that's the scariest thing ever. So I just tell myself like, you've got this, like this is fine, even if I'm like shaking. And I feel like I've really been able to just like, when I think I'm gonna fall, I'm like still on for another bolt, and I'm like just gunning for the rests, or the next time I can clip, because for me when I clip I feel relief because I'm not gonna fall very far.
Right.
I like that idea of like the No, you gotta turn your mic off. No, I was like, I like the idea of the voice in your head because I definitely resonate with that. But I feel like for me, it's either, like you said, positive affirmation, or if it's negative, I just turn it off because especially like when you're like at the limit of suffering, I'm kind of just like I don't want to hear it. Like I just want to like focus on the feeling. So I feel like I definitely at times where like it does not feel good, or like I've set roots on a goal that didn't feel good from the start, and I just have to just turn off the little voice in my brain telling me that I should just start over, and just like keep going because I'm like I don't know how far I'll go until I finish the tryout. And sometimes that try is a sin. So
Yeah, I love it. I love it when we can like twist our mind, like Anna was saying, you like gaslight yourself, like to essentially have yourself. You know, it's interesting what you just said that fear can come into play, like when you're clipping and then you feel that relief after you get the clip. And I just find it very interesting as somebody who struggled for a very long time and still does at times with fear of falling, to hear from a professional climber that also fear of falling comes into play for you. And I would love to hear a little bit more about that, like your experience with that, and then, you know, maybe check with Kai and Emily as well to see if that's something that oftentimes I think we look at professional climbers who achieve at the highest levels as you all do, and you're like, oh, you figured out the fear thing a long time ago and you're just focusing on like performance now, but maybe that's not the case.
I think that might be the case for some people. I'm not sure. I'm not in their bodies or their minds, but it's definitely not the case for me. I started sport climbing like 6 years ago now, and then I was starting like trad climbing and all this, and I just felt like when I started, I was like, oh, this is not comfortable, and it was a really difficult thing to just be okay with falling, and it's really. I think even still, like if I go to a new area, new rock type, new character of the wall, I still get quite afraid until I'm maybe, I don't know, I pass this like confidence threshold where I'm feeling like a badass on the rock, or I'm feeling like I'm really getting into my project, or I feel like I'm flowing. But if I'm not flowing, I think the fear just like easily comes back. And it's something I like pretty consistently struggle with, I guess, because I'm constantly changing. I know, right? Every time I say it, Ryan gets paid. Because I'm constantly like changing locations, right? So it's like constantly a different style. Okay, now I'm gonna be in Mexico on Tufa limestone. Okay, back to Tuolumne, and then back. Like I feel like I just don't quite have it nailed. But maybe as the years go on and I revisit these places, I start a little bit higher up, a little like a step ahead, and I'm seeing that the process gets quicker and I'm understanding it better. But I definitely still have to go through it.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Emily, I'd love to hear from you on this as well. Your film Girl Climber, which is out, by the way, it's like doing like a theater run right now. I highly recommend it on the big screen if you can. Girl Climber, let's give it up for Girl Climber. It's so good. And the accomplishment is like unbelievable. But very famously in that film, you take like a 50-footer to your noggin, and then like another one. It's a little intense. And but you've done some of like through your career, you've been climbing for a long time, but you've done what would be perceived as very high risk things. You summited Everest, and you do like really extreme skiing and climbing on all different types of terrain, including big walls. And so like, what is your relationship with fear, and how do you manage that, like when it creeps up?
That's a good synopsis of me. My relationship with fear, I would say, is complicated. I think it's something that I've learned to just accept as a part of climbing and a part of what I do. Risk is something that I believe we should think really carefully about, but we shouldn't eliminate it from our lives entirely, because that's what teaches us so much about ourselves. And the same goes for fear. I think there's several different kinds of fear, and I think the first step to kind of getting through fear is accepting it in a way, like accepting that it exists, accepting that you're never going to conquer it, you're never going to beat it. It's an emotion that we all feel, no matter who we are. You're going to feel this throughout your life, and it might come in the form of climbing, but it might come in other ways, and kind of learning how to deal with it and almost welcome it in a way, I think can help you in other avenues of your life. And so for me, it's really about like acknowledging that it's there and then trying to understand why it's there. So while you're climbing, for example, it's like, okay, why am I afraid in this moment? Is it because if I fall, like something bad will happen or I'll get injured? Or am I just afraid of the exposure, and have I just not really been in this scenario for, recently? Like if I go back to Yosemite and I go to the top of El Cap and wrap in, like I'm gonna be horrified. I'm gonna cry. Like I know the process. I know what it's like. It's really scary for me. And it's really hard for me to kind of wrap my brain around the idea of being in an exposed place, even though I know that it's safe. So I think it's really about like, first of all, wanting to have the experience. Like you really you have to want to push yourself. You have to want to put yourself in a place of fear, either whether it's to accomplish a goal or grow as a person or something like that. You have to really want it in order to even put yourself in that position. And then I think it's really about like taking these really tangible baby steps to confront those fears. Like I'm not saying like if you're afraid of heights, don't go base jump off of the top of El Cap. Like that's just going to traumatize you. I think it's taking these really small steps forward of like pushing your comfort zone little by little by little. And sometimes you might have to take a step back and be like, you know what, today is not my day. I'm not feeling it. And you also have to give yourself grace with that and feel really comfortable with like, okay, today's not my day. I'm going to go reassess and then I'm going to come back. And I think understanding that sort of like failure and accepting that as well can also be a part of the process. Like it's not going to be linear if you're working on dealing with fear in climbing. Like I think understanding also it's not just going to be like, well, I'm just like getting better and better. I'm understanding it more. I'm not afraid. But at this moment, just get, that's also something that's not realistic, just like life. So yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, snaps for Emily on that. Can we snaps? Just snaps.
Can
We
I
just do snaps
can I just-
in this class? Oh,
Can
go
I
ahead.
just say that I loved that you said you have to want it and like there's this desire to be in the discomfort, because I feel like sometimes when I'm like having a really scared day and I'm crying or something, like I've actually been asked like, why do you climb if you're just constantly scared? Like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, because I love it. Like, I don't know, 'cause I kind of like sobbing and it was a really, scary day, but it's just like, I want it somewhere deep in my core. And even if it's a bad day or it's a route that takes a lot more because it's so scary or dangerous, I love that you said like, you have to want it. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's how you do it.
And I also think it's okay to not want it. Like I'm just clarifying that. Like there's certain types of risk that I just don't want anymore. And so I just don't do them because I don't have the motivation. I have a family. I have an almost 3-year-old. So there are certain things that I'm like, well, the value of that experience is not there for me anymore. So I'm gonna go clip bolts in the red.
Oh yeah. Put bolts in the red! Ty, I want to check in with you because you've been climbing since 6, but you said when you came out here, that was like your first time outdoor because you were, such a focused competitive climber and an accomplished competitive climber. How about now? Like what's the experience with fear and your relationship with fear as a climber?
Funny. I think my relationship with fear a lot of times comes from my competitive background, where you're kind of just taught to compartmentalize. And I actually was thinking about that. I did used to be scared of falling, but I realized that the way I was taught to get through is may not be the healthiest and may not be recommended for all. But as a kid, for context, in competition climbing, like every point matters and even positive movement matters. And so I started lead climbing when I was 9. And when I started, they knew I had to learn. So when I got to an age eligible category, I would have to compete and lead. And like, you can't just call take. I mean, like you can, but like you shouldn't.
Right.
So I
Because
was
essentially you're leading points
on the
board. If you're not
wall.
falling while you're moving up.
Exactly.
Right.
And positive movement can be the difference between a host of places in a competition. And so I actually jumped a number grade in difficulty when I started lead climbing because I was too scared to fall. So I just kept climbing and kept clipping because I wasn't allowed to call take. When I used to call take, my coach used to give slack. So
No, it's not okay, coaches.
It's not recommended. Okay. I'm telling you, it's not. But I think in the process, I kind of just learned how to compartmentalize.
But I'll tell you what, if it gets me another number grade, I'll have my belayer just give me slack when I go there. I'm just kidding. I won't do it.
Not everyone.
Psychological trauma.
Not everyone will react the same to that situation. Some people will have a panic attack. My reaction was like, well, I just gotta keep going. I have to put the chains down, or else, like, what's the alternative? And so,
damn it worked.
Yeah, it did. And so now I feel like at this point, I'm kind of just like, I know the rope will catch me. I know everything's gonna be fine in the end, usually. And
Yeah.
so I kind of just trust the process and ignore it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I mean, like, it's kind of refreshing. Like, all of your all's experience is very similar, I think, to a lot of the people who are sitting out here right now or watching. Is that, I mean, we're all just like people, and we kind of process these fears and these emotions in our own ways. But for me, it's very refreshing to hear that you all kind of experience the same things that I do. So thank you all for sharing. I'm going to open it up to you all out here in just a second. I want to do questions from the audience. And something a little bug I want to put in your minds. We can ask normal questions, but I'm also kind of interested in like hot takes and pet peeves as like a little bit of a theme. So just like sprinkling it out there, hot takes and pet peeves. And well, I actually saw a hand go up, so maybe we'll just like open it up for athlete questions. We've got Anna, we've got Kai, we've got Emily up here, and so yeah, right here, Dennis. What's the question, my dude? Oh, Dominic, how are you? Sorry, I can't see anything now.
So this is a question for all of you. It is a two-part question.
I'm going to repeat it because it's not on mic. So two-part questions for all the climbers.
So y'all have probably been asked like what got you into climbing, but what I'm interested to know is what solidified it as a passion for you, and then part two is what solidified like what you carved your specific section of climbing as a niche, as a passion.
Okay, so I'm just going to repeat the question from Dominic.
And then the specific type of climbing that you love most.
So you've all probably been asked what got you into climbing, but the question is what solidified climbing as a real passion for you, and then the sub-question, kind of your area of focus of climbing. We can go down the line here, Emily.
Great question, first of all. I think I was pretty passionate about climbing from the beginning. I just loved the idea of like solving the puzzle. I think that's what really drew me to it as a kid. I started climbing when I was 10 years old. And then, yeah, I don't know if I really have a niche. I think my niche, I've kind of done a lot of different styles and I've really diversified. And I think that's probably why I've stuck with climbing, is because I love that about the sport. Like, I can be a sport climber. I can go to Yosemite. I can trad climb. I can climb big walls. I can go to Nepal and climb in the Himalaya. I can utilize skiing, which is kind of like my second passion, and kind of like go on adventures that are more ski mountaineering focused. And so I think originally it was this pure movement that I was drawn to, and sort of that creative side where you kind of are finding your own path up the wall. And then it kind of transitioned as I grew and evolved as a person. I realized that climbing could also grow and evolve with me and mean different things to me at different points in my life. And now that I do have a kid, it's quite a bit easier to actually do what I started out doing, and that's going sport climbing. And so it's kind of come back full circle. And I love that about the sport. You can kind of experience it in all these different avenues, and I love them all.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate that. Bit of an overachiever, Emily Harrington, over here. That's why she's one of the best in the world. Kai LIghtner, what solidified climbing? Kai climbing solidified. That's the order of the words that I meant to say. For you, do you know?
Yeah, I think that for me, I can't speak for 6-year-old me, but I feel like, first of all, I tried every sport under the sun. My mom put me in basketball, football, soccer, tennis, all of them. And like I found some talent in some other sports, but my neurodivergence did not allow me to sink my teeth into them. It was just not going to work. I couldn't remember a play to save my life. But when it came to climbing, for some reason, it shocked my mom too. It was like this idea of like there's so much to sink their teeth into climbing, the problem solving, the physicality, the movement, and the feeling of movement. And it was the only thing that she could leave me for like hours on end to do and go and like do her work or whatever, come back, and she knew I would be right where she left me, like right in front of the wall, climbing in circles, like enjoying just the movement of climbing. And I think I ended up finding my niche more so in lead climbing because the gym I grew up in was pretty small. Like the walls were at most, I think, 15 feet tall. It was like the old school gym, but like regrind and like tape on the walls, and like all the holes were pretty positive and old. Like I wound up on the same climb for nationals, I think like 7 years in a row. Just
never reset.
Yeah, it never reset. So I just found my like a passion, just like climbing in circles, doing circuits, climbing as many moves as I possibly could, and somewhere around there I just built a lot of endurance, and then it became like a marquee of my climbing. I didn't realize until I was competing, and it was just a strength of my climbing, and so I just kept the ball rolling from there. But yeah,
I love that. I love like peeling back. It's a great question because you can kind of peel back and see like what was the provenance for you being such like a wildly strong endurance climber. It's just because you were climbing in circles on the same grimy holds year after year.
yeah.
Just to make it interesting because like there's nothing else to climb.
I used to compete at competitions all around the world, and like we would go to these really hot destinations in like South America, and all these climbers from like Colorado or like really dry places would be like, the conditions are so bad, my skin is so wet, and me growing up in like the South
Right.
in 100% humidity, 100 degrees, no AC, I was like, this is normal. This is fine.
This is conditions, yeah.
We're doing great.
Thank you, Kai. Anna, how about for you? When did you start climbing?
I feel like I started when I was 16, although
Okay.
I had done like a birthday party or two before then.
Right.
But I found it at the end of high school, and I was so psyched. And I remember my first climb. I still remember it because I guess it's this clear memory. It was on the slab wall at this gym, and I had ditched cross country practice to go with a friend. And when I topped out this wall, which was quite tall, I feel like it was a tall wall by today's gym standards for bouldering, like a bit dangerously tall. I remember this like rush, and it was the slab, and it was tall. I was like, this is amazing. And
Anna Hazelnutt was born.
it was my first climb, and I was like, I have to do more of this always. It was like a drug. I was like, this is the first thing I've ever loved, because I really didn't like running, but I kind of had to. I ran in clubs since I was 9 years old, and I was kind of pushed into it, forced into it, if you will. And I didn't really like studying and school, and I didn't love anything at that time. And I remember finding it. I'm like, this is so joyful. I cannot believe something can be this this fun and make me smile so much. So I just kind of started doing that. And then I guess what got me into the niche was not only that was obviously this like tall slab, but I was like, there's eventually, like after college, I was like, there's taller slabs. You just have to learn how to put a rope up the wall.
Right.
And then I was like, wait, there's even taller ones. You just have to learn how to set up a portal edge. So I've kind of just been figuring out how to do more and more of the thing I like on top of itself.
Oh yeah, I love that. Thank you all. That was a great question, Dominic. How about a chalk bag from our friends over at Petzl? I'm going to toss it. Oh, watch out! No, I didn't knock over somebody's beer. Okay, Whew, that was close. That was close. Next time I'm going to hand over to the athletes. No, it was a left-handed pitch. I don't know, guys. It's dark out there.
Perfectly good throw.
It was a perfectly good throw, says the recipient, Dominic, in the audience. Thank you, Dominic. Okay, questions for our panelists out here. Oh, there's a Ryan's got a question. No, a hand to the back in the middle. Yep, glasses, sitting down. Oh, is there somebody else too? My eyesight's garbage. Yep, you. Yep.
This is your podcast.
So, USA Climbing recently banned transgender competitors. Considering that there have been no professional or high-level transgender competitors, how do you guys feel about that, if anything?
So USA Climbing, I'm going to repeat the question for the podcast. USA Climbing recently banned transgender climbers, and considering there haven't been any,
There have been no high-level transgender competitors and no professional trans.
no high-level transgender competitors and no professional transgender competitors. Basically, they're banning something that doesn't exist. If I'm reading between the lines here. Thoughts? Guys, we're keeping it light here at Miguel's. Let's wade into
You said I could talk.
Anna.
You said
Anna, look at her. Look at her. She's so ready to go, you guys. She's so ready to go. Okay, I'm starting my timer. We're gonna keep it to 27 minutes for this response time. And go.
Okay, obviously this is a huge issue that I've no, I'm not gonna talk about that. That I've seen, popping up. I do have a sticker on my water bottle, and I have these stickers that I put places that just say trans climbers belong. So I'm always on every water bottle. I'm trying to represent here and like make sure that It's like you do belong, and this is exactly. It's not. Okay, you said 27 minutes? Yeah, I think that anything that's trying to keep our trans adults out of these sports that provide community, joy, love, like athleticism, everything is just the wrong direction. Like, this is not how we foster a community of togetherness and growth. Yeah, I think that's the worst thing you can do for trans kids is to not let them participate in sports. I think that's, yeah, it's just gonna like amplify a lot of the issues that are already arising. Yeah, I could say a lot, but I'll leave it there.
Hell yeah. Ty, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I guess. I feel like none of us are really in USA Climbing. I just started doing a couple competitions here and there after a big hiatus. But I can say in general that it's been pretty disappointing in general just to see the lack of empathy and understanding for human experiences that's gone into policy making in general, whether it's like from a macro level, government level, and then from even the recent ruling that they did for the U.S. Olympic Committee, where the Trump administration basically forced them to ban trans female athletes from sports. And so it's just been really disheartening that a lot of it hasn't really been based on facts or case studies or anything that's tangible. It's just based upon the emotions that people feeling, and like unfortunately this marginalized group of people get caught in the middle of that tug of war. And so I guess it's just the hope is that in the future that we can do more research, have more educated opinions and policies being made, and that we're being more considerate of the people that are caught in between the policies that affect their everyday lives.
Hear, hear. Appreciate that. Well, thank you so much. Would it be trite to give you a chalk bag for asking that question? Do you want a chalk bag? Okay, here's a chalk bag. Well, I can't throw it. I've already been banned from throwing. Yes. Oh, good. It's a handoff. It's a connection. And then a little shuttle pass. Yeah, it's like we need to put some stuff in there. The next chalk bag is going to be filled with a bunch of nickels so that we can get it out into the distance. Back there, my Are You the One fan? Is that my Are You the One fan? And Christina? Is that your name? Yeah. Question for Emily.
What advice do you have for people who want to become parents but are worried about how that will affect their climate?
Okay, what advice do you have for climbers who want to become parents but are worried about how that would affect their climbing? Emily Harrington.
Yeah, so this was my biggest fear when I had a kid, was how it would affect my climbing and how it would affect how I approached climbing, how I performed, what I wanted out of climbing. I was afraid that I wouldn't get to go on adventures anymore and do big expeditions. And
the pregnancy or being a mother?
Everything. The pregnancy, yes, the pregnancy is its own thing. And then, yeah, afterwards, just like having a child and how that would change everything. And so the answer is, it does change. It does. There's like no way around that. But for me, at least, personally, the really surprising part and the really liberating part was so much changed. And I was so, like, it was exactly what I was afraid of happened. And then I was just so content with the change and the transition. I think if you want to become a parent, you are choosing to make a big change in your life. And so, of course, everything else around that is going to change. I think it's important to remember that you're not going to lose climbing. If you care enough about something, you're going to keep it in your life. You're going to figure out how to make it work, no matter what. And so you're not going to lose climbing. But it will look different. I would be lying if I was like, everything's the same. And like, I feel the same way about climbing that I used to. Like, I go to Yosemite now and I look at El Cap and it terrifies me, and I still haven't been able to go back to it. But for some reason, I'm just like okay with that because I have this other thing that I care about so much and I love so much. And it's just been, I really enjoy being a parent a lot more than I thought I would. And I really want to bring my son to the climbing areas and expose him to climbing. And it's all become like a whole package. Like, of course it affects my climbing, but it's so worth it for me. So I think I just be real. That my advice is like, yeah, it's going to change things, but you're not going to lose climbing if you love climbing. You're going to figure out how to keep climbing in your life. It's going to look different, but if you want to bring your kid to the crag, it might be some people's pet peeve, but I'm going to bring my kid to the crag, and I'm going to bring him to the climbing gym, and I'm going to make it work. Logistically, my biggest advice to parents is bring a third.
Yeah.
So if you can handle like paying someone to come with you, like a babysitter or a nanny, awesome. Or like a family member or a friend, like having a third helps so much in all of that, like in everything with climbing. So that's been like our really like logistics key is like having a third person there.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that if I could, because I'm also a parent, and the third point there is like such good beta. So I live in Louisville, and I come in for like the day mostly. I don't usually spend the night here, but oftentimes I'll bring my kids or one of my kids with me. And like typically pre-kid, you're always looking for even numbers. Like, oh, we're a party of 3, I need a fourth. Does anybody have a fourth? But like with the kid, the odd numbers are so good because you've always got somebody at the base to hang with the kid and play with them and help them. And by the way, I don't know, at 45 years old, like I'm kind of happy to have the extra rest time. It's not like I need to like lower off and immediately belay and then get on the next route. So kind of having the odd numbers really works. But I will also say this just from the point of view as a weekend warrior who's also a parent, is that for me, and I started climbing later in life, but for me, all of my hardest achievements, if you will, like my most proud achievements as a climber have come as a parent. And I just make it work. I'm like better with time management now that I have kids, and I'm more psyched when I do manage to clear a day and come out without my kids and just like come out with my crew. And you can just like continue to crush and perform as a parent. And if it's like in you to have kids, then they'll just make it better. And now my daughter, who's 7 years old, is like, I brought her out the other day and she like crushed a 5.9 out in Muir Valley. I was so psyched. I was like, I like made a post on that day. I climbed 0 routes. I did 15 belays, and it was like one of the best days out I've ever had at the Red. It was like just so fun, just like catching my kids.
One perk.
Are you on? No?
It's off.
You're on.
Oh, I'm on. I would say one perk is that mom strength is real. Yeah. So that is a thing. Am I still off?
You're on, but it's
Try
quiet.
again.
I'm on, but quieter. Okay.
There you go. Higher. Okay.
Oh, I was just saying, everything you just said is right. You get better at time management. You appreciate climbing a lot more because you don't have as much time to do it. But I climb the same grade now as I climbed when I was 18 years old because mom's strength is real. So
Lift that bus off that kid. Yes, that's so good. Okay, so to our whoa, Emily Harrington. Was that me? That was me. To our potential future parent, I've got a 5-year training performance journal for you, which is like a reflective journal. So over the next 5 years, you'll be able to see. Throw the journal! Kai. Literally like lawsuits.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Good luck. Okay, we've probably got time for a couple more questions, and then we're gonna do a couple more questions. Yeah, no, we've got about 15 minutes. 15 minutes, but I want to have a few words at the end from Billy to talk about the RRGCC. So Dennis, you've got your hand up over there, and then next to Dennis, and then I think there's another hand back here. So go ahead. Oh, and somebody behind us as well. Go ahead.
What tips do you have for someone who is aspiring to be a professional or sponsored climber? Are you able to get to that level without climbing a specific grade like 514, 515?
Okay, so tips for those who are aspiring to become a professional climber, and are you able to become a professional climber without climbing a certain like kind of grade threshold? So we've got 3 professional climbers here, and you probably have all achieved that status through different avenues. So these answers may vary, but Anna, can you speak to Dennis's question there?
Yeah, the way I did it was through social media. I just thought having like a public presence and focusing on storytelling was really meaningful, and I felt like my story might be worth telling, and I really liked that idea. And so when people kind of started gravitating to that, I began getting more views, kind of more, just building that social media presence. And then I got sponsored, and then I was able to try to climb hard. So that was kind of like the steps for me, because I wasn't able to spend a lot of time climbing until I was like financially able to do that, if that makes sense. So I kind of did like this reverse order, but I see it happening a lot more with people online, just focusing on the storytelling, and I honestly find a lot of value in that as well. So I don't think you have to climb a certain grade. I think there's a lot that comes with being a professional climber that isn't just climbing hard.
Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. Emily? On me. That's my bad. Okay, ready, go.
Yeah, I think Anna's correct. I mean, I think now it looks a bit different because I think not only do you maybe not necessarily have to climb the hardest, but even if you do climb the hardest, you have to have other skills outside of that, and that is like being social media savvy and being good at content creation. And I think that's one of the like more modern ways of becoming a professional athlete. I think, I don't know, Kai and I have maybe like a similar origin story. We started out in the gym, we did competitions, we were quite good at those, and that's kind of how I've been a professional climber since I was very young, but that was decades ago. So I think for me, it's a bit harder to speak to because my start was just so much different. But I think, yeah, I've kind of like had to learn and maintain relevancy. I'm 39, so like a lot of professional athletes in other sports don't stay professional athletes this long because I'm not climbing 515. I'm now like telling stories and creating content and kind of like doing the same things that Anna's doing, but actually like learning from her how to do it. So I think it's about like kind of staying relevant in that way and telling stories and being inspiring.
You're this close to sending it, Emily. You're so close. Yeah, it's like that game that you would twist the knob and you didn't know when all the puzzle pieces were going to pop up. Kai, how would you like to add to the question here?
Yeah.
Turning it down.
Hello.
There you go.
Okay. I was about to say, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this. Oh, yours is so impressive.
I know. I
I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this question, because I feel like so much of it was like it happened so young for me. Like I had my first contract when I was 10, and I've been a sponsored athlete for more years than I haven't been alive.
So Dennis, can you go back in time and get sponsored at 10? Is that not an option? Are you older than 10?
But
He's older than 10. He's got a mustache.
I feel like what I can say from my experience being in the industry for so long, especially seeing like how the sport has boomed and evolved, even in my time as a climber, it's the people who get the sponsorships from the athletes have not always been the people at the cutting edge of the sport. I feel like if anything, the most impactful people who are sponsored are people who are really excellent stewards of the sport in their own communities. I remember coming here regularly as a kid and being mentored by some of the climbers here, whether it was like Drew Mack or I know I haven't seen him in years, but there's people who are who uphold the culture and standards of the sport in a way that's like commendable and keeps things positive and keeps the sport moving forward. Like we have to pass down those teachings, those lessons, those can't lose the recipes. and so I feel like those are the people who I think had the most impact on me, who were sponsored athletes growing up. And so yeah, like to what Anna was saying, like I feel like there's just so many more paths. Sorry, Anna. There's so many more paths to being a sponsored athlete than just being at the cutting edge of the sport. And I think the best way you can do is like be authentic in your approach and just be a good steward of your community.
Yeah, thank you, Kai. I appreciate that. Chalk bag for our homie. Okay, let's give it a round of applause for those answers, and thank you all for the questions. I'm going to have some more things to give away in just a second here, but I actually want to move on to talking a little bit about the Red River Gorge community, Rocktoberfest in particular, and its 25th year. And so I want to bring up somebody who's been very involved in the RRGCC. He's going to be moving on to Access Fund very soon here. But he's just an incredible guy, and I just want to hear a few words about Rocktoberfest, this festival in this community. And so, Billy Simic, are you around here? I know he was going to have a couple beers, so he had some liquid courage to come up. Billy? Billy! All right, so Billy's going to come up, and Billy, if you could just take a couple seconds to tell us a little bit about Rocktoberfest and how it's evolved in its 25th year, and what it's meant to you, my man. Give it up again for Billy. Come on.
And can we give it up again for all of our wonderful panelists here too? So I'll give you a quick, brief overview because I know I'm not that exciting. But Rocktoberfest started as just a day-long event. I just looked at the schedule again from the first one. Started at like 7 a.m., ended at 8 p.m. Who ends a party at 8 p.m., you know? That was in 2001. And then in 2004, RGCC bought a little area called the Pendergrass Murray Recreational Preserve, the PMRP. And the coalition used Rocktoberfest every year to pay off the mortgage payment back to the Access Fund. And when they paid that off, they then bought another area, Miller Fork Recreational Preserve, in 2012, 2013. And then when they paid that off, they bought the Bald Rock Recreational Preserve, the Motherlode, the chocolate factory.
Let's go.
And, you know, just waited a little bit longer, wanted to tease everybody. But just this year, we bought another property, 718 acres worth. So Rocktoberfest this year went from, you know, being a one-day event to, Wednesday. BD was here on Monday, so it's technically a week-long event now, which is pretty sweet. It's the largest climbing festival in the country now. We get people from all over the world to come out to it, and we raise $70K a year now, which is pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
And that is only thanks to all of you that come out, all of our volunteers that help, all of our sponsors who come and support the RRGCC and the Climbing the River Gorge, all of our athletes, everybody who comes. So thank you all. It's not possible without you, and we hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you, Billy. Give it up for Billy. Thank you, Billy, for your service with the coalition. And let's give it up for the volunteers of the RRGCC. I know a lot of you all are out there. In fact, if a volunteer could bring me a beer, I will give you a chalk bag. This is about my beer now, everyone. Okay, we're going to do one last question for our panelists to wrap up this podcast, and then we are going to give away a bunch of really cool stuff. I'm talking about shoes from Scarpa, draws from Petzl, a PhysiVantage nutrition pack. We've got a Gree from Scarpa. We've got a pack from Arc'teryx. We've got Evolve shoes. We've got all sorts of good stuff that we're going to be raffling off. So this is your 5-minute warning that if you want to win some of that really cool stuff, the chances of winning are pretty good because there aren't like a million people here. Go on back to the red tent and grab yourself an armful of raffle tickets and win yourself whatever pair of shoes you want from Scarpa or a bunch of draws that you hopefully won't leave on your project and get stolen, like happened to me last year. So go on back to the red tent and grab some tickets. We're going to do one more question, and Emily's going to, Kai's going to pick who has the question right. Okay, homie right in the front here. Question from this guy. Oh, with the boot on? Oh, with the boot on. You automatically get a chalk bag. Yeah, Kai knows. Kai knows. Is it a boot question? We'll just send it right over to Kai. Okay, 2 parts.
One, what is your biggest drag or climbing in general pet peeve? And also, do you advise climbing in a boot?
Biggest climbing pet peeve and follow-up question, do you advise climbing in a boot? So Kai, we'll let you take, well, why don't you take both first, but I would love to hear from Anna and Emily on this as well. As actually, everybody's had crazy injuries, so we can hear about that in general.
I feel like there is a line between what you should do versus what you're gonna do, and so I was luckily my surgeon was familiar with what I did with climbing, and so by about week 2, he was like, "I would advise you not to climb, but I'm sure you're probably gonna do it anyway." And I was like, "I already have."
And by the way, posted it all over Instagram.
I did.
Good that your doctor wasn't following you.
If he was following me, that's the problem. And so I can say for me, a big tip for the boot at least is just like stick to a rope and stick to overhanging areas and like just be cognizant, make sure you have a good belayer that's not going to deck you. But aside from that, yeah, I just stuck to a rope for like 4 months.
I mean, the Red River Gorge is great for that. A rope and steep.
Yeah,
So you're falling into space, basically.
exactly. As long as the approach to the climb is flat.
There you go.
In terms of the pet peeve, I don't know if I have that many pet peeves. Maybe, and this isn't like a size fits all, but maybe a little pet peeve I have sometimes is like if I'm doing something or working something, people who give like unsolicited advice that's like not obvious. There's like a difference between like you missed a hole, you missed a foot, versus like maybe or like because I feel like for me it's not even like an ego thing. It's more so like I take so much gratitude in like the process of the figuring out the movement and like solving it for myself. So once I ask, I usually don't like when people give me advice on movement. Yeah.
Yeah, the unsolicited advice. Thanks, Kai. And thank you for the question. Anna and Emily, we'll pass it to you. Any pet peeves? And if you don't have a pet peeve, and you just want to end it with some other words of wisdom, insight, or fun, then feel free to, because this is our last opportunity to share before the end of this live podcast at Miguel's.
I've been racking my head for a pet peeve, but it's really hard to think of one. And I feel like maybe one is like when people question the send if I like clip the second bolt for like safety reasons, or if I'm like top roping, people make like these like side comments like, oh, like something about top roping, and I think that's a pet peeve because I love top roping, and
Hell yeah.
honestly, like,
Give it up for top roping.
and it's like I don't really need to like risk my ankles to have like a certain type of send. I'm just out here climbing and having fun a lot of times, and like I feel like the times those comments have been made, it's like just like a warm. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just clip that. That's fine. I don't need that one. Like it's like, yeah.
Yeah, just like basically qualifying other people's experiences is usually a third rail.
I just want to say, risking your ankles just lets me know you climb slab. Because I'm like, ankles? What do you mean?
Emily, bring it home here. Climbing in a boot, A, and B, pet peeves. Any pet peeves?
Climbing in a boot. I've never had to do it, so I would listen to Kai. That sounds like sound advice, honestly.
I think-
Have you already climbed in your boot? Oh,
It happened Monday.
okay.
It happened Monday. Well, Hollow climbed in a boot for a while after, he hurt himself.
Yeah.
So
You were
yeah,
probably
just do
going
it.
to anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
But-
You're gonna do it.
Climbing pet peeve. I don't have that many, but I do have like something that I kind of despise in climbing, and that is rappelling. I hate rappelling. So
The fear factor.
I just think it's like dangerous, and I avoid it at all costs. And like, I guess when people are climbing like single pitch routes, and instead of like lowering off, they rappel off. I just like don't know. I can't. I
Just
I
lower
hate
off.
rappelling.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. Rappelling is dangerous. Make sure you check yourself.
Yeah, totally.
I just really don't like it. It's like one thing in climbing that I'm like I could, if there was another way, I would do it at any time.
Yeah, you're here to that. Well, we don't have to worry about any of that here at the Red River Gorge because most of the routes we do have multi-pitch, but most of the routes are single pitch. They're steep. They're good to climb in a boot, and they're good to climb and just have some fun. And I hope we all have just an incredible time. Thank you all for coming out to Miguel's for this live podcast. Really appreciate you all. Let's give it up. Warm applause for Emily, Kai, and Anna here. And let's enjoy the 25th Rocktoberfest. All right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and let our esteemed, that was the word I was looking for. I brought it home. Not astute. Did you have it? All right, Kai knows me. Kai gets me. Our esteemed, not astute, but maybe also astute. Our astute and our esteemed panelists, we're going to let them bug out of here because they've got clinics, they've got families, they've got rest because they can get out and crush tomorrow. So give it up for them one more time. And I am about to do the raffle. So if you want to grab tickets, go ahead back there. And panelists, we'll see you later.
Thank you, guys.
That was great, you guys. Thank you. Oh no, that was actually the best it's ever been. I'm not even kidding. That was truly the best it's ever been. Not really. Yeah, I saw AB and like thanks for coming out. They were great. Yeah.
I stopped at the rest stop.
All right. All right. We are going to do the raffle. So I'm going to give you all 1 more minute if you want to get tickets, because then we are going to draw these incredible prizes. 1 minute if you want to grab tickets, and if you want, yeah, that's it. It looks like they're wrapping up over there. All right, 1 minute. We're going to pull these tickets and give away a bunch of cool stuff. Yeah. But it was a great question.
I want to talk to Ty about it because my answer is very similar.
Did we get them?
I have not yet. Wherever you want it.
Put it up here on your shoulder.
I'll do it. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, dude.
It was like what not to do, what to do. It was like, did we tell you what not to do?
I wanted to talk to you because my answer to my own question is very similar. I was also telling Ryan about this last year when I asked him last year. I'm on this. Yeah, it's LIghtner, my own understanding. We're still aligned, we're still there, but I kind of realized, wait a second.
Yeah, I think we get prizes and then we're going to
figure it out. That is the exact way that I learned how to climb. And I learned a lot how I learned to climb. And it is what made me comfortable with being
No, I'm telling you, it's actually interesting. So great. It's like one little section where there's feedback. It was great. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, it was great. We just said, no, dude, you're a pro. Did it work? Is anybody still watching? It got so dark. Well, anyway, if anybody's still there, I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, there's like a few likes. There's 2 people. Ah, the 2 people. Thank you, 2 people, for still watching. I love you.